Hello everyone, Neil for T-Shares here, coming at you with another video for TETRA, where we automate your DeFi. Thanks to come to my channel. If you would, please like, share, and subscribe. And today we're going to take a look at placing limit orders with OMNIS and how to think about starting the process if you're looking to swing trade and use OMNIS's limit order capability in your portfolio. So let's take a look at some ideas now, shall we? So now you have tools like OMNIS to place limit orders and to execute your trades. So what's next? Well, you need to have a plan before you use these tools. Just clicking buttons and responding to hype and FOMO is not going to help you at all. And even with tools like OMNIS, you can still get wrecked. So let's think about some ways to plan ahead of what you're trying to do and ask yourself some questions like, what are you trying to accomplish in these trades? Are you trying to DCA in? Or buy lower and hold, or maybe buy lower and hold for a short time and sell in a short time? Are you moving from a downward trend to safety? That is, are you in an asset that is now losing value, but you know will go up in the future? Maybe you want to move to stable coins until the price starts moving back upwards. Are you wanting to swing trade? If so, what's your time frame? You can swing trade on a daily basis, hourly, weekly, monthly? And how much do you want to deploy per trade? Certainly, I would not recommend deploying your whole bag. But these are just things you must ask yourselves as you formulate a plan on what you want to do with your assets and how you use tools like OMNIS to accomplish your goals. Now let's look at the next step in this process. So now you have a plan. Now it's time to look at the charts and see how you're going to execute that plan. So you need to just look at the type of asset you're looking at buying and selling to see how you want to deploy your plan based upon the information. If you're looking at a stable coin, you'll have a different way, and you look at a chart one way versus, say, a high volatile asset like Hex or PulseX or Pulse. You need to consider the daily transaction volume on the asset. High transaction volume means more opportunities for your positions to deploy, and the reverse is true with low transaction volume. And you need to think about the past price action in the short term, medium term, and long term, and look at those trends and how they historically have acted. And then, is there a current trend you need to consider? Are you part of a Telegram group or part of a project that has some new features coming out that might cause, or new additions that might cause the token price to move one way or the other? And is now even a good time to buy or sell that particular asset? Maybe it's because of what you've seen, what you've studied in the charts. If we're running sideways, what's the point? Maybe you want to use a different asset that has more volatility, allow you a chance to swing trade and make more money. These are things to consider when you read the chart and on different assets to see whether it's worthwhile or not to even place a limit order. So let's look at the next step now using OMNIS, how you need to really think about this on a technical level before we enter into any trade. Okay, you made a plan, you looked at the charts, and you think you're ready. Now we got to consider how you're going to calculate your position using a limit order through OMNIS. Well, there's a few more things you must consider. First, how far from the current market price of the asset are you setting your order? Because the further away you get, the harder it is to catch that buy, because you're not the only one seeking to buy a spike or a dip in the price. Also, how much are you trying to move per trade in regards to liquidity of the asset? So if you're in an asset, say with $200,000 of liquidity, and you have $10,000, you'll push the price too far, and you'll eat too much slippage in any direction you try to move it. So you might want to consider reducing the amount per purchase in these type of situations. Next, when you set your slippage on OMNIS for your limit order, in light of these things that you're considering, you must make certain choices. How greedy are you? Are you setting a limit order at a low wick? Let's say you have a stable coin that usually runs $1, and every now and then it goes down to 90 cents. Well, if you're going to try to catch a 90-cent buy, you are not the only one. Other people will be competing against you. Even people with MEV bots, market buys, and stuff like that. People just watch the charts all day. How greedy are you going to get? So if you set your slippage high enough, you should hit your trade. But in turn, by doing so, you usually receive fewer tokens than you would at a market buy at that price, just because of the dynamic of the situation. So that's something we'll talk about a little bit more in detail on when we look at the charts here next. Those are things to consider. And then another thing, if how much you want to deploy per trade, and then maybe a smaller players are better. So if you're trying to catch a 10-cent move on a stablecoin, let's say, maybe it'd be better to take many 3-cent moves or 2-cent moves, because it all equal out in the same profit in the end. And maybe you have more luck doing that than the big ones. Who knows? Market dynamics are different, and we all take risks when we do this, because we're all guessing what the price is going to do. And anytime you have a major action on a block, you never know what the price is going to do and how many people on that block with you buying and selling, and how that block's going to execute and what the final result's going to be. Another thing to consider is how long do you want to wait for the price to move your position. So when you set your time frame up, if you're thinking in a very short term, buy or sell, trying to swing trade certain assets, you need to look at the short term, 1 second, 1 minute charts, and then you're trying to make decisions accordingly, right? If you study you bet a plan, you study the chart and the trends, maybe if you have weeks and months you're playing those games, you set your positions up accordingly. And also, it also depends. Some of these things is which side of the asset do you hold? Do you hold both pieces? You can set opposite limit orders. Do you trying to just acquire and then do something later, or do you have something you're just trying to sell and then get out and find other assets to invest in? So all these things you got to be considered, and when you set these positions in OMNIS. So now let's take a look at the charts. Now let's look at some examples and how many think about, especially slippage and setting limit orders. What's the best way to think about that to set up your trades? All right, so you made a plan. You looked at the chart. It meets the criteria of liquidity, transactions, and you've mapped out a trend. And you're going to use this trend to make some decisions. So in this example, we're using loan and PLS, and we have a trend that's going up. And we use OMNIS to make some purchases along the bottom as it ran sideways. And now we will set up limit orders to sell these assets for a profit. Okay, that's the plan we've gone with. That's what we're going to look at. So we're going to analyze. These 3 blue lines represent the different sell points of our bag. All right, we just took our assets, divided by 3, made 3 points, and we'll see what's going to happen. Now we can't predict this exactly. We're using hindsight here, but I'm showing you what, if you place models, this is kind of how you need to think. So now what we're going to do is look at each one of these, and let's look at how these things behave. Okay. Now, this is the first sell point you had, because you don't know what's going to happen or how it's going to go. But the first one comes in, and you set your limit order at this blue line, and we have a buy that comes through your sell point, but not quite high enough to go past your slippage range. And now I want to pause here and explain how the slippage you set on OMNIS works and how you conceptualize this in your mind. Think of it as a range from a point in space above and below it by half your percentage. So this was 3% slippage setting. At 1.5% above and below is the range of slippage you will have within that particular order execution. Okay, to make sure you pay enough gas to get it filled. Well, the price though for this to work needs to go past that range in order to work, especially on some of these orders. So you can see here the price is just below the slippage range, so it probably would not execute. But a couple blocks later, it is. So you may miss this first one, but the second one you would have succeeded and then sold at this price point, but because it went past your price point, probably sold for a little bit more. So you'd average a few more tokens for your sale at this point versus one that hit just right above it. Okay, so you gain a little bit more than you thought. It's good. Now, on this next one here, we see. Wait a minute. I set my sell point here, and the price went just right past it, but not enough to go past it. I'm like, man, I missed it. But the price also fluctuated enough to where the next candle down on the next block, somebody sold a lot, it went through your sell point and carried it on down past your slippage all the way down. So in this example, you'd have sold at your sell point, but because of the slippage, you'd have ate a loss and got fewer tokens on the sale because of what happened on the next block. You're still better than market, obviously, and you're still picking your point in time, but this is a reality. Sometimes you do get fewer tokens for your sell point than based upon the slippage. So this also allows you to execute this point as well, having high slippage. So this represents 4% slippage or something. You see, so there's risk and reward in all these things, and that's something you must consider when you set the slippage on your limit orders. So if we go up here, this other one, then we had a big order here, and we had your sell point was here. You set your slippage at a wide range of slippage. Let's say you set it at 8% slippage or something really, really big. Well, because we had a big candle going up, you would have caught that, even with your slippage, and gained more tokens and ended up having a better rate. Now, let's say this is an extreme point that happens every now and then, and you know it through trending, it does do this. It's really hard. If you just set your price here, then with high slippage, what would happen is that this would never execute because you set your price at the extreme. So when you think of, if you want to work on the extremes of these trading ranges using OMNIS, you need to set your sell point plus slippage to be the end, giving you a better chance of hitting the target. Probably better to have something like this, to where the percentage plus your movement from the average range, what you expect to move, will give you a better shot at executing these trades at these extreme movements. So these are something that just takes time and practice, experience, and then looking at your charts and OMNIS's orders executions and what happened when it did, to see exactly why you are or not having good trades. Because if we were trying to look at this limit order setup and say, hey, we're going to have a million loan token and we're going to try to sell it at a better than market rate. So right now, token is, let's see here, this is the current price of the token, okay? And so we're like, well, I want to sell it up here. What should I do? If I just look at the chart quickly and want to set a quick limit order up, all right, on loan, I want to sell it up here. Well, what I need to do is do a quick calculation and set me a price range. So somebody just sold, okay? So I'm going to sell it up here, which is, because I'm going to say right here, which is 20% above market right now, which is below the peak over here and well below the peak has been, okay? So it's not the last local top, it's just below it. I don't want to get too greedy. Well, I'll come here, set to 20%, about the same, okay? And I will sell those tokens and I will receive, in this case, for $20 worth of loan token, I'll receive $24 worth of Pulse, which is a 20% increase. And that's that ratio I can look up. I can switch the ratio and check it, okay? But that's it right there. So there's it means the same thing graphically as well as on OMNIS, what you're trying to do for your sell point. You set it up here, then you calculate your slippage. You say, well, there's not a whole lot of movement up here. Maybe I only do, say, 3.5%, okay? Which puts me far enough below any potential spikes that one big positive spike comes up, even though it goes past me, I'll still be able to execute my order and not be passed by. So that's how you need to think about these things with slippage and when using OMNIS, and think about how to plan your charts and how to utilize these tools to you can just swing trade and all these other things. Well, I hope you found this information beneficial. You can make a plan, you read the charts, and calculate your positions in order to use these tools for your benefit on the blockchain. And that's what these are. These are tools. OMNIS is a tool that you can use which will have features in the future like compound limit orders and editing of limit orders that will be added to this feature set here in the next couple updates. So you this is not meant to be an exhaustive how-to to swing trading like that, but these are just concepts and ideas you can utilize to help you in your endeavors trying to trade and use these tools to increase your positions on the blockchain. Well, I want to thank you all for coming to my channel. If you would, please like, share, and subscribe. And if you have any questions, please feel free to contact us. We have links in the description below to our Telegram channel, or you can leave a comment on the YouTube comment section below. Well, that's all I have for today, folks. Hope you all enjoyed this. This is Neil for T-Shares signing off with another video for TETRA. Have a nice day, and take care.